Gboyega Odubanjo has been listening in on the last 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 45 minutes of our conference. And he's been very, very carefully writing down his points. And he's now going to put them together and string a lovely poem, a poetic chronicle of the day. Thanks so much, Gboyega. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Over to you.
That's perfect. Thank you very much. Hello. It's been very decent listening to all of the talks and the conferences and the chats that have gone on throughout. Today, I've written something. I'm going to read it. Thank you kindly. Zoom, camera, action. The orchestra takes the stage as one they move as if it is one light that holds and guides them all. This baroque in a time that feels broken, acting as the first building block for us towards something hopeful. Everywhere around us are buzzwords and slogans. How can we be flexible enough to access something sustainable enough to be the foundation of an inclusive post-COVID, pre-COVID, well-mobilized, multilingual, rebuilt, reimagined drop of hope filled with lived experience and a living wage? Who do we turn to when authorities turn away? Where do we find joy when home becomes office, creche, lunch hall, playground, battleground? When your home is compromised and from the taps flow emails, where in the fridge there is nothing but alarms, where do you rest? When Goliath knocks, faceless and moneyed, who else but your neighbors can hold you? Whether via touch or smile, helping hand or open door, what else but community can bring us together? I step out, I log on, and I see a crossing, a mile, a bridge to travel through, and a hope that these are steps we take together, like some orchestra, some group of dancers. Cheers.
Wow, powerful words. Thank you so much, Gboyega. I didn't get a chance to introduce you in all the excitement. So very quickly, Gboyega was born and raised in East London. He's the author of 2 poetry pamphlets, While I Yet Live and Auntie Uncle Poems. He's an editor of the poetry magazine Bath Mag. There we go, fantastic. Thank you for those wonderful words that you've strung together in a matter of seconds after listening in for the last couple of hours. I'm going to invite our wonderful poet chronicler of the day, Ibrahim Hirsi. He's going to join us. Ibrahim is a student, a writer, and a peer researcher for the Center for Mental Health, a digital Somali cultural archivist, and independent researcher. He's also the co-founder of the Waber iPhone. His work has been performed as part of the Bedlam Mental Health Festival. He's been part of the DRREO Roundhouse exhibition. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And in the Creative but Confined exhibition, and is in the upcoming PBLJ. He has worked as a consultant on Asma Jama's interactive short film, Before We Disappear. Ibrahim, it's wonderful to have you, and we're looking forward to hearing your poetic chronicle of the day.
Firstly, I want to congratulate everyone who's organized and helped set up this, this wonderful conference. I was listening since the start, and it's obviously as my job as a chronicler, but it gave me a lot to think about. I was contemplating and reflecting and writing a lot throughout. One line really, really stuck with me, and that was by Dr. Carol. And she said, "You can only learn when you are not hungry." And so I used that as the epigraph for the poem, which goes like this. It's unnamed currently. There's a bitterness in learning, a film of skin, elastic yet rigid, difficult to break through. Yet when you slice through it, it cracks knowledge open, spatchcocks it, leaves it flat and easy to traverse. Ask me to define poetry and I'll ask you to define speech, or heart, or knowledge, or what it means to open up your house to those who need. There's a level of support in everything, or at least there needs to be a level of support in everything. Pirate radios are as democratic as democracy can be. Landscapes need to be flattened for true growth to occur. There are too many of us hindered by weeds, by clasps forged without keys, by systems that neglect those who don't fit in. Creativity and innovation have long lived within their own realm of logic. Movement in learning is a way forward. To be elastic in your methods. To fill the cavities like silver in a rotten tooth, like tarmac in a pothole, pulling together the gaps and healing the wounds. To bring people together, level like the Serengeti. Don't sing to us of streets studded with stars when you block the entrances to them. The pedagogues weave myths as long as time, our sirens telling us to leave our brothers. Read about Bach and watch Citizen Kane and quote Shakespeare's sonnets, and life will be a little easier for you, they sing hauntingly. 1,000,000 have left their cannons for yours. 1,000,000 are still waiting for their fruits. So yeah, that's the poem. And yeah, it was just a really deep reflection, especially on the keynote and the panel, which I was just jotting down so many notes, because every line, every word really even just left me with a lot to reflect with, a lot to reflect on and to contemplate, just about the state of the education, especially in this country. But yeah, thank you. That's the poem.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Ibrahim. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. You put that together really beautifully. I'm glad our technical issues were fixed. So hope to see you again soon, Ibrahim. Rakaya Fetuga is a poet, a facilitator, and an events producer based in London. Her work joins conversations on overlapping identities, faith, and culture as self-affirmation. Rakaya's commissions include work for the BBC, for Apple, Bloomberg Philanthropies with Vanity Fair, English touring theatre, and with LinkedIn. Since winning the Roundhouse Poetry Slam, Rakaya is developing her monodrama Unbraided to show at the Roundhouse Last Word Festival in July of this year. Rakaya, it's so wonderful to have you. I'm looking forward to hearing your poetic chronicle of the day. Over to you.
Thanks so much for having me, Bab. It's been wonderful listening to all of the talks today, and I've been scribbling down a little poetic piece for you all. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. The poem doesn't have a name yet, but thank you everyone who's been here today, presenting, speaking, and sharing your incredible ideas. If revolution is governed by mysterious laws of its own, maybe we should give in to everything we don't yet know, to listen to the rhythm of a change that's going to come, to the echo of lessons from resistance that was won. We dance through ideas, we yacht club swing into a quarter of rich culture that is ever changing. Communities disappearing like shop signs, boarded over and emptied. Marginalized communities told what they want without being asked what they need. But there is energy here, an impatient youth campaigning for the climate and for equality. Fanon speaks through an incisive teen with his Afro pick. Each generation must discover its mission. So what is the mission at hand? If crisis costs those who have the least the most, how do we distribute power so no potential is left untapped? So every Rahim in our area has the sterling in his pocket to give him a fighting chance. So everyone has the support to show how much they can offer. We dance through ideas. We yacht club swing through Haverstock School, humanist walks, Arabic literature, and Islington council talks, thinking about tilting the playing field and devolving power. Can this pandemic shake us into refresh? Could all this lead to a better world where we take time to look around us and see the economically marginalized and the politically marginalized are the same? Don't we all deserve support? Camden is a flagship for solidarity, even without obvious commonality. This final day of knowledge swapping is a fresh start. Each of us leaves with an armful of questions like fireflies waiting to spring into action. How can I be helpful rather than harmful? How is knowledge shared with everyone around? How do we find the compassion to switch? How do we find the compassion switch to light up this quarter of London? Small changes that collect and glow, lighting the streets and all of our homes. We've seen the world radically change. Why can't we all do the same? Thank you.
Wow, Rakaya, that was so powerful, so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing those thoughts. I know to sit and listen to 2.5 hours of conversation is not easy, but you've captured it so beautifully, and we look forward to sharing your poem with all the people who attended this conference, but more so with the people who weren't able to attend, and hopefully they can listen to your poem or read your poem and get a gist of what was discussed today. Thanks so much, Rakaya.